Aloha and welcome to Action Island. I am Gilles Gallant with the Action Network, joined by Nick Giffen, Kyle Murray, and Derek Carty. And we are here to wrap up week 8 in the NFL with Monday Night Football featuring the Washington Commanders and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we're going to build a four-leg same-game parlay for tonight's matchup. So here's what we're going to do. If this is your first time watching the show, we each have two bets that we like from this game, but we're not going to use all of our bets for the parlay. We're going to actually vote on those. And then what we'll do is we'll build a four-leg same-game parlay with one pick from each of us. And by the end of the show, we should have a nice four-legger for you to be able to tail. Now, each one of these picks, when we give them out, there is going to be a quick slip link that we're going to drop in the YouTube chat. So if you want to tail any of these bets, click that link. That'll take you directly to the sports book where you can tail that bet and get the best line and the odds, because that's the whole point. So let's get started. Kyle, you have got two bets here for this game. They're both, I see, on the cheap side. What do you like?
Yeah, going to America's favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, for both of these plays. I'm taking Brashard Smith over 16 and a half receiving yards for my first play. Brashard Smith, not necessarily a household name, but he has been seeing increases in his involvement in this Kansas City offense over the last month or so. He's turned that improved involvement into four straight games with at least 21 plus receiving yards. The Chiefs like to get him involved in terms of their little screen plays, those little jet sweep passes that Mahomes has perfected. He's coming up with a season high in snaps last week with 35, but a lot of that was in garbage time. But I do think it's worth noting that it's continued to increase. But I think more so, we've been hearing Andy Reid and even Patrick Mahomes this week on the podium talking positively about Rashard Smith. Obviously, this is a guy who was a 4.24 40 guy. The Chiefs love their speedsters, and Rashard Smith fits that role as an explosive type player, averaging 8.7 yards per catch this season, but I think he is more than capable of breaking a big one. And when talking about the floor volume, you do see him develop a nice solid floor in terms of targets over the last month or so, averaging 4 targets per game. So give me the over on Rashard Smith, 16 and a half receiving yards tonight.
All right, Brashard Smith, over 16 and a half receiving yards. There's a lot of mouths to feed in this offense now
Yeah.
with Rashee Rice back, but he seems to have carved out a role in this offense so far. So that's the first prop that you like, Brashard Smith, over 16 and a half receiving yards. What's the next one?
Yeah, I'm going to the man himself, Patrick Mahomes, taking the over 21 and a half rushing yards. Mahomes has sort of turned a new leaf this season here with his rushing production. He's been way more involved on the ground, has 4+ rush attempts in every game so far this year, 20 total attempts over the last 3 games. He's averaging 35 rushing yards per game this season on 6 attempts per game. And a lot of that has come per just efficiency, right? Averaging over 6 yards per carry this season. And when you look at just the sheer rushing market share, 18%, 44%, 41%, 20% over the last 4 games. So he is, taking things into his own hands here. I think a lot of that comes down to scrambles. The Chiefs are the most pass-heavy team in neutral scripts so far this season. So when things break down, Mahomes is not afraid to, run around and scramble and make things happen. And he's done very well doing that so far this season. So I'm going to back him on the ground here, taking the over 21 and a half rushing yards.
For sure. And Mahomes actually leads the NFL in total scramble. Some of that is obviously slowed over the last couple of weeks as this offense has started to pick back up. Also, very proud of you that you gave out two Chiefs props. Did not mention Taylor Swift or Travis Kelsey once. Good for you. So,
Thank
all
you.
right.
That's
So,
hard.
Derek, Nick, we got to take a vote here. Are we going to vote for Brashard Smith over 16 and a half receiving yards, or are we going to take Patrick Mahomes over 21 and a half rushing yards? Let's take a vote. All right, Nick, Derek, which way do we go? I went with Mahomes. Mahomes just keeps running, and it looks like we all feel the same way. So Derek, Nick, and I have all voted for Patrick Mahomes to go over his rushing yard prop at 21 and a half yards. But if you did want to tail the Brashard Smith over 16 and a half receiving yards, reminder, the quick slip link is in the YouTube chat. You can click that link. That'll take you to the sports book to be able to bet that. So that is the first leg of the same game parlay. Patrick Mahomes over 21 and a half rushing yards. We now bring in Derek Carty. So Derek, you've been featured on Action Playbook Live quite a bit. You've been very successful here on Island. You have two props that you like tonight. What are you looking at?
My first one is Marcus Mariota over 30 and a half pass attempts. You can get that at even money at MGM now. We're a few points off at a number of other books right now. My projection system, the Blitz, is well over this number, over 35 pass attempts for Mariota. So we're looking at a big difference in terms of projection. And what I think it comes down to is that this is a Washington offense that is very pass heavy, but they've gone fairly run heavy in 2 games with Mariota, and it's my guess that that's what this line is being based off of. But they've gone way more run heavy than we would expect going from Jane Daniels to a backup quarterback. 2 games is a very small sample size. He has Debo and Terry McLaurin back this week, so I'm expecting the pass rate to pick up a little bit, especially given the game script here, where they are most likely going to be playing from behind and having to throw the ball. This is also the second fastest paced game of the week, so just overall volume is going to be up, and that's going to help pass attempts as well.
All right. Well, this kind of reminds me of the bet we did yesterday, where you were on Justin Fields on the over completions because of almost the market looking at him as being a running quarterback, that a lot more of the times when he drops back, he's just going to take off. Well, that's not what we're looking at here with Derek's pick. We're looking at Marcus Mariota to make at least 31 pass attempts in this game, seeing that at plus money. So that's the first prop that Derek likes. Marcus Mariota over 30.5 pass attempts. What's the next one?
The next one is an anytime touchdown prop. I'm looking at Kareem Hunt to score a touchdown, plus 400 at FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN right now. The blitz is projecting close to half a touchdown here, about a 39% chance of scoring one, which at plus 400 is really, really good value. He popped up on the injury report this week. I feel like maybe this is a bit of an overreaction to that because we don't quite have a lot of clarity on what his situation is. Is he okay? Is he going to play? Like, there's a non-zero chance that he's inactive here, which if that's the case, then, then this is just a scratch. But assuming he plays, he should be good to go. And this is the team's leader in red zone carries. He's a guy who has a very distinct role on this offense, and he's not going to get a bunch of touches. But when he does touch the ball, it's most likely going to be near the goal line. So I like Kareem Hunt here, plus 400.
I'm glad you brought that up about the goal line, because that's typically when Kareem Hunt does most of his damage. Between the 20s, they'll let Pacheco do his thing, maybe do some passes to all the other receivers. Once they get inside the 10-yard line, the data is there. Kareem Hunt has been getting those carries. It's just really over the last game or two that Isaiah Pacheco started to get a little bit more. I think I'm with you that Kareem Hunt is going to be a little bit more involved on that front. But Nick, Kyle, we got to take a vote here. So I like both of these picks, but Marcus Mariota over 30.5 pass attempts, or we're going to take Kareem Hunt for an anytime touchdown at 4-1. So let's take a vote. All right, guys. Derek was speaking to my heart, so I'm going to vote for the touchdown here. I'm taking Kareem Hunt here at 4-1. What do we get?
Flipping a coin.
Oh, Mariota.
I have Mahomes on one side. I have Hunt on the other side, and it was Hunt.
Hey,
I like them
okay.
both. I really
right.
like both of them. So
It really came down to a coin flip, though, Derek, on which pick we were taking here. So Hunt and Mariota were the two options here. So we're going to have Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown. I think this is Derek's first touchdown prop he's given out on the show this year. So I'm all for it. So that is going to be the second leg of the same game parlay. So Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown. We are pairing that with Patrick Mahomes over 21.5 rushing yards. Now, Nick, we're going to get to your picks here in a second. First up, if you want access to all of Action Pro projections, make sure to sign up for an annual subscription to Action Pro. Access includes exclusive player prop picks from Sean Kerner and all the members of the Action Analytics team, along with their anytime touchdown projections. To sign up, visit actionnetwork.com/pro today. Use code ISLAND20 at sign up. One more time, that's ISLAND20 at sign up for $20 off. All right, Nick. You are a Commanders fan. I want to get that out of the way first. Not that I hold that against you, but this is something that we have to know before you give your picks here. So you have two picks, and I'm seeing them right now, both on the Commanders side. What are you doing?
yeah, well, for my first pick, we'll go to the one I gave out on Friday, and that's Marcus Mariota over 28.5 rush yards. I actually got this 23.5 on Friday, so hopefully you were following in the Action Network app when we got that on Friday. And got the, turn your notifications on and all that and be a pro subscriber because you got 5 yards of value right there. But it's 28.5 now. And I really like this because the Chiefs allow quarterbacks to scramble at the highest rate in the NFL. They continue to do that this year. Same last year, they were top 5. And when you adjust for the quarterbacks they face, because they've faced some run-heavy quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and even Trevor Lawrence a little bit, it's still 25%, almost 25% over their normal quarterback scramble rates. So I'm kind of conservatively projecting 2.25 scrambles for Marcus Mariota. I mean, you look at Carty, his projection of 35 pass attempts for Mariota. That's a lot of dropbacks, and some of those could turn into scrambles. I actually have, even higher on Mariota attempts, but if I take one attempt away, it's probably because a lot of that is going towards a scramble. So, like I said, I'm conservatively projecting 2.25 scrambles, and the Chiefs allow almost 8 yards per carry on their scrambles, and Mariota has scrambled for just over 8 yards per carry as a commander. So 2.25 times 8 is like 18 yards right there, just off scrambles. He should have, 2 to 5, 3 to 5, somewhere in that neighborhood, designed runs. They do like to use him in the run game as well. And this might be, if you were on Action Island with us a few weeks ago, this might be the Trevor Lawrence 2.0 spot. We had Trevor Lawrence for first touchdown. He almost got the second touchdown of the game because the Chiefs started with the ball and drove down and scored a touchdown. But if you had the second chance on BetMGM, we almost hit that. He fumbled as he was trying to extend the ball over the goal line, but then he got 2 touchdowns anyway. So, I could see Marcus Mariota getting a touchdown here and running for it. So a whole bunch. And, I think Lawrence had like 10 rush attempts in that game versus the Chiefs. So give me Marcus Mariota, over his rushing yards.
For sure. Marcus Mariota over 28.5 rushing yards. You had tracked this in the Action app earlier in the week where you got that at 23.5. So it has moved a little bit, but we still like it at the value spot here for 28.5 rushing yards. Next pick. Are you looking side total? I know you like to do luck rankings. Does this game apply for luck rankings at all?
Nah, no luck rankings here. No homerism here, I promise. But I am going Commanders plus 10.5. And a lot of this comes down to what I call Marcus Mariota. He is, I'm very high on him as a quarterback, just in general. I was coming out of college. My prospect model had him kind of comped to Russell Wilson in a lot of ways. But if we look at Mariota as a commander on 38 drives, they have 13 touchdowns and 9 field goals. That equates to 3.11 points per drive as a commander with Mariota at quarterback. That would be number 2 in the NFL this year, behind only the Indianapolis Colts. And for context, the Chiefs average 2.86 points per drive. Now, you got to adjust for the fact that, he's faced the Cowboys a couple times and their defense sucks. No offense, Jill. And the Panthers last year didn't have a great defense, and the Raiders this year. But overall, even when you schedule adjust those, I mean, he's not too far behind the Kansas City Chiefs for, points per drive. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer than we think. And, for what it's worth, the Commanders wide receivers are, I'm going to air quote this, healthy again. So he will at least have Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin at his disposal.
Yes, I will concede Mariota has looked a lot better this year. And in his 2 starts, you looked, as perfect as he can for a Mariota game. Like I would not have expected that in those 2 starts. But now in this game, catching 10.5 points, which again, just given the numbers here, just seems a little hefty. You would think that maybe it would be under 10 here. But all right, so that means that Kyle Carty, we got to take a vote. Are we going to take the Commanders plus 10.5, or are we going to take Marcus Mariota to scramble and get over 28.5 rushing yards? So let's take a vote. All right, I ended up voting for Mariota, and I'm going to actually root for a quarterback controversy maybe between him and Jaden Daniels. All right, what do we got? Mariota. Oh, both 2 command. Okay, I got outvoted. All right, that's okay. I mean, again, I still think it's a couple more points than maybe the Commanders should be laying. Either way, I just think 10.5. That's a nice spot here. Where if we're going to go with that with the Patrick Mahomes scrambles, and we're going to take Kareem Hunt for an anytime touchdown, likely a slower pace. Maybe we're getting closer to a 10.5 here. But there is a reason why I did vote for Marcus Mariota, and it's not because I don't like the Commanders. It's because I'm betting him to score a touchdown. That's actually one of the bets that I like this week for this same game parlay. So Marcus Mariota, he's around 4-1 for an anytime touchdown in that week 3 game where that offense looked great. He scored a rushing touchdown, 2 carries inside the 10-yard line as well in 2 games this season. And Nick, you broke this down. The Chiefs' run defense just not been good. Quarterbacks have been having a lot of success running the ball on this defense. Bottom 7 in rush yards to quarterbacks, 3 rushing touchdowns allowed. And I honestly think the wide receivers being healthy and returning will actually enable some more scrambling ability, because now the Chiefs will probably have to keep some check in there and make sure that they're guarding them to make sure to give Mariota more time to scramble. So Marcus Mariota for an anytime touchdown, that is going to be my first pick. But if we wanted to keep it a little safer, we can go with Xavier Worthy. That was who I was going to take for my original bet here. But only one touchdown this year. I just like him to bounce back. Rashee Rice is back. Worthy ran the most routes for the Chiefs. Still saw 2 red zone targets. And facing a Commanders defense, they play a lot of man coverage, 8th highest rate. And Worthy, for what it's worth, has seen his higher target share and caught his only touchdown this season versus man defenses. So I just think the Chiefs, they're so creative with the way that they use him, especially in the red zone with rushing attempts and targets. So I like Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs side to score. He's around plus 165, plus 170. And Marcus Mariota for an anytime touchdown is the second choice. So gentlemen, we got to take a vote here. Are we going to go full Mariota and go full Commanders and take an anytime touchdown? Or are we going to double down on a Chiefs touchdown with Kareem Hunt and take Xavier Worthy for an anytime touchdown? So Kyle, Derek, Nick, let's vote. All right, which way do we go? Let's see. Worthy. Mariota. Okay. Derek, I wanted to ask you, just because, is it because of the pass attempts prop that maybe you weren't feeling the Mariota touchdown as much, or is it just you think Worthy has a higher chance to score, so we want to go that way?
Yeah, definitely could be a result of the pass attempts a little bit, but mostly I just looked at my own system and it likes the value on Worthy more. Like you said, the Commanders play a bunch of man defense. Worthy has been good against man defense. They use him in the red zone really creatively with their, runs and sweeps and everything else they do. So I have him projected for a little bit better value here than Mariota.
For sure. Okay, so Worthy touchdown, we still like that one, but Mariota touchdown is going to be the final leg of this same game parlay. So let's recap. We've got Patrick Mahomes over on his rushing yard prop. We have Kareem Hunt for an anytime touchdown. We are taking the Commanders plus 10.5, and we are rounding it out with Marcus Mariota for an anytime touchdown. Right now, looking at the odds, that is 71-1 right now at FanDuel, which feels really plausible. I mean, again, I feel like all of these bets and all the cases that we laid out here today all seem kind of correlated, which makes me feel very happy that we have a 71-1 parlay. Nick, what do you think of this parlay here and how we've rounded it out with having a Kareem Hunt touchdown and a Mariota touchdown with the other two props?
Yeah, what I think this comes down to is, Carty talked about it. It's the 3rd fastest combined pace of the week. So it sounds like points. You could almost throw the over in here as well. But for me, a lot of it comes down to Marcus Mariota being better than the market suggests. It was the same thing when we had the Mariota versus the Raiders, the strong luck over, and then they just poured like 41 points or something on him, whatever it was. Yeah, I think the market's just undervaluing Mariota here, which should produce a lot of points, a close game maybe, and touchdowns for both teams. So get Kareem Hunt and get Mariota in the end zone.
And 71-1, pretty decent value. If we hit this one, it would be, I think, the biggest parlay we've laid out so far this year. Maybe it was the Trevor Lawrence one with the one with first touchdown. I think that one actually was like 100-1 or something like that. But either way, this one is 71-1. Follow Parlay Express as well in the Action Network app. Anytime we do any of these fun parlays or same game parlays, we always track them there as well if you want to see all the different parlays that are available from our different experts. But that is all for us. I want to thank you for watching Action Island for Monday Night Football. We're going to be back on the island to kick off Week 9 with the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. Hopefully we don't get any injury report shenanigans and Lamar Jackson is playing, but we will see as we get closer to Thursday. So on behalf of Nick Giffen, Kyle Murray, and Derek Carty, I'm Gilles Gallant. Aloha and bon champs.